$675 million. What are they doing? They're actually lighting money on fire. The main driver of the business model, short-term rentals. That whole business just got nuked. $500 million increase in sales and marketing and a $400 million increase in product development to add $1.15 million in revenue. I mean, what were you guys going to do? So Airbnb just filed, I think, Monday night. And, I'm sure everyone knows the story of Airbnb. Let's go to the money slide. Okay, this money slide is not as pretty as DoorDash's money slide. This slide is a little bit more muddied, and rightly so. The key thing here is gross bookings value. Okay. October, 3.4 billion in gross bookings. So this is their version of GMV. 3.1. This is November, December 2019. 4.7 in January. 4.0 in February. Bam, COVID hits. 2.0 in March. 800 million in April. And then May, 2.2 billion. June, 3.8. July, 3.8. August, 3.4. September, 3.1. When you read through the narrative on this, in this S1, what you'll see is that you have Airbnb management saying, hey, look, we're pretty much back at like pre-pandemic levels, right? Hey, we're back at 3.8, 3.4, 3.1. Interestingly, they don't show you this level of breakdown. They just give you 12 months. They don't show you the trend line pre-October, right? What was September, August, July of 2019? I don't know. Great question. They're not going to show me. So what is the narrative that goes along with these numbers? And so the management at Airbnb tries to fill some of that in for us. Obviously, they talk about, COVID and the devastating impact that's had on the travel industry. But why did this rebound? They do touch on that. Domestic travel represents travel within the same country, while air and cross-border international travel has been significantly impacted by COVID. Domestic travel around the world has been extremely resilient. Right? So traveling, say, within the United States or within your country. Short distance travel within 50 miles of guest origin has been highly resilient, even at the peak of business interruption in April. So, and then here, travel outside of our top cities has been more resilient than those booked in our top 20 cities. Long-term stays, at least 29 nights, right? So these are like month plus long stays. Long-term stays are one of our fastest growing categories in 2019, as guests increasingly chose Airbnb listings to meet their needs for stays of greater length. So what they're trying to say here is, hey, we're really well positioned for COVID because, you got people. Everyone knows this, right? You got the migration out of hugely dense cities. Also going back to the DoorDash topic, good for DoorDash, right? Very bad for Airbnb. These cities were, if you think about Airbnb's value prop and you look at their story of how they got started, the whole thing around was, I think, around like the Democrat National Convention in 2008 for Obama. And there was no hotels available in the city that they were in. And so that was Airbnb's calling, was to give people lodging. Cities, right? All international travel, gone. No one wants to be in a highly dense city, as evidenced here. So you say, oh, well, people want to get out of cities. That's benefiting us. People want to do longer term stays. That's benefiting us. Basically, what Airbnb is saying is, well, now, there still are bookings going on domestically. People are trying to escape the cities, and we can help these people that are leaving cities, that need to find alternative places to stay, that don't want to be, that want space, that, have families, whatever it is, right? Can't be in the city. Like me, I've left New York City. So there's a lot of people that are doing this. You also have a lot of people that are, able to work remotely now and, might want to go and travel somewhere else for a month or 2 or 3, right? The challenges I see with this is, I actually don't think Airbnb is as competitively positioned for long-term bookings. And I know this just anecdotally as a personal user. And there's other studies out there as well. Just Airbnb is expensive. And if you think about Airbnb is expensive when compared to long-term booking alternatives. When you look at VRBO, when you look at other ways, you can go on like Trulia and find these things that are, for an annual rental. And then, people will do a short, a few month booking and it's free and you can contact people for free. I mean, there's a lot of ways. Booking.com is doing a lot of things in this space. I mean, there's a lot of competition here. Airbnb really had short-term rentals locked down, right? And the whole thing of short-term rentals was you could have a nice stay, arguably better value, more space in a city when hotels were too expensive. And particularly when hotels were all booked, conferences going on, right? And all these kinds. And then you had all these other expansions of the business, but that really was the main driver of the business model. Short-term rentals. That whole business just got nuked. And, now they're trying to pivot the story, which makes sense. I mean, you got to do it. You can't go public on on the positioning of short-term rentals. That's not going to work. I think the question is, well, again, are they well positioned to compete on that? I don't think so. I think their fees are very high. The fees need to come down. The margins are lower. And why that's a problem is this. Airbnb's money slide. Yikes. 2017, losing $70 million. 2018, $16 million. You say, oh, well, that's not that bad. Right? 2019, $675 million. I mean, what are they doing? What are they doing in 2019? I mean, they're just, I know what they're doing. They're actually lighting money on fire. $675 million from basically $17 million the year before. And their GMV basically grew, or their revenue, not even GMV, their revenue grew at almost the same rate that it did the prior year from 2017 to 2018 versus 2018 to 2019. And you see it, they added $500 million in their sales and marketing. They added $400 million in product development. And you compare that to the increase from 2017 to 2018, right? They added $250 million in sales and marketing. They added $180 million in product development. They went crazy. Their costs got out of control. And boy, did that come back to bite them. And then you look at the layoffs that Airbnb did, haphazardly. I think they were late to do the layoffs. I don't think they cut deep enough. It's unnecessary. You don't need to add $500 million in sales and marketing to grow. I mean, if that's really what you need to do, $500 million in sales and marketing to add $1.15 billion in revenue. That's a horrible ROI, like abysmal. You know what I think it is? I think it's bad management. What it is. It's bad management. Look at DoorDash, right? Look at DoorDash versus Airbnb. DoorDash was able to come from a minority behind position by market share and beat all the dominant platform players, Uber Eats and Grubhub. Airbnb got out of control. It's bad management. We've talked on the show, Airbnb should have gone public long before COVID. Their employees wanted them to do it. Their advisors wanted them to do it. There's countless stories about, saying, hey, we should go public. Look at our growth, right? No, instead Airbnb decided to go and spend like $700 million on, what was it? The $500 million increase in sales and marketing and a $400 million increase in product development to add $1.15 million in revenue. I mean, what were you guys going to do? You don't even have another business model. You have experiences. Experiences is not really working out that hot. And now your core business model just got nuked. So here's another thing. The play here for Airbnb is to say, hey, we're aggressively going into the hotel industry. They've barely penetrated the hotel industry. They bought Hotel Tonight. Haven't really heard much else that they've done with it. You've now seen some of the incumbent hotels try to launch either their own experience marketplaces, launch their own, short-term rental, user-generated kind of stay type model, Airbnb type model, alternatives. So you've seen the hotels, try to innovate in this space, but could Airbnb go and create a hotel marketplace to get boutique and independent hoteliers, which is a lot of what Hotel Tonight is? How is that being integrated into Airbnb? How are you really, spanning out into a new business model? It's actually been around since 2008. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. The DNC. And DoorDash was founded in 2013. Again, you look at just the cycles here. That transition to platform conglomerate, I think, is so important in just the life cycle of these platform entities, where you've seen, right, Uber go from ride sharing into Uber Eats. Now Freight and some others, they might sell off Freight. We'll see. DoorDash, 2013, 7 years. They have one platform business, food delivery. We'll see. Can they, can the management, right? Do you have the right management in place who can understand where to tack, where you can bolt on or, expand into another platform model that's complementary to your existing model? I mean, you got to give Travis credit for that at Uber, to seed Uber Eats. It really wasn't Dara didn't start Uber Eats. Dara has helped to consolidate and obviously push Uber Eats. He's a smart guy who knows how to run and scale platform businesses. But I from a management evaluation of Airbnb, I don't give them very high marks, right? Where are you expanding into new platform opportunities? You've been around for 12 years. You just spent $400 million in 2019 on additional product development resources, $500 million on additional sales and marketing resources, right? What are you doing with that money? Are you rolling out new business models that are going to have insane growth, like an Uber Eats type of expansion, or YouTube, your Google's YouTube? I'm not seeing it, and and it's certainly not talked about in the S1. Meanwhile, you're now going from basically barely break even, pretty much call it break even 2018, to losing $600+ million in 2019. Why did you do that? Why did you have to do that? I don't think you had to do that. So why did you do that? And I don't see the ROI for that. And to me, that means management probably, I think they need different management. Why is management doing that? It just seems irresponsible. And I don't understand what they got for it. It's a pretty big bet. It's a pretty massive bet. Where's the board? Why did the board approve that? I just have a lot more questions and hesitations about what Airbnb is doing. I'm not even talking about like what they've done during COVID, which I think, as I've said, they're less well positioned to compete against a Booking, a VRBO, and Expedia in long-term stays, which is clearly a huge priority for them now. So I think they're less well positioned in the core business, and then just the management's ability to operate and invest and be good managers. I don't know. I got a lot of questions. This S1 does not make me rushing to the gate to say, yeah, let's put money into this. Some serious questions here that in my opinion, really need to be answered and delved into much more. We'll see if we actually get those answers, or if they just kind of get whitewashed over because they're Airbnb. Hi, this is Alex from Winner Take All. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us questions, and definitely make sure to join us on our next live stream.